Please give it up for our next storyteller, Peter. Get it, Peter.
So the summer of 2011 was the first summer I didn't have to take an SAT course. See, my family came here from China when I was 3 years old to New York City, which means that my entire life has been designed around me getting into college. And much to my dad's disappointment, I got into the top public Ivy in New York City, in New York, Binghamton University. So for the first time in my life, I had a summer where I didn't have any responsibilities. We were planning our first vacation to China together, and that would have been my first time being on the motherland. Unfortunately for me, cancer does not follow along my life plans. So my mom had cancer for my entire life since before I was born, and it wasn't getting any better that summer. So my dad, instead of deciding to cancel the vacation, decided to go to China with my two oldest sisters and left me behind to take care of my mom. I had just turned 18 6 months ago, so I was barely an adult. And suddenly I had become responsible for preparing my mom's meals, taking her to radiation therapy, and remembering all of the appointments that she started forgetting. The cancer never got better, and towards the end of the summer, my mom was hospitalized. I don't remember how everything went down, but I do remember being home completely alone without my family and texting my sisters from 12 hours, like across the world, 12 hours away, telling them what happened frantically over text. So my family came home, and it was a day before I had to leave for college. I remember us sitting in the hospital together next to my mom's bed, and I remember saying to them, I have to go home and get ready to leave. Knowing now that when I said that, what I was really saying was, I need to run away. So the next day, I packed all my suitcases, got on a bus alone, took it 4 hours upstate, and moved into an empty dorm room by myself. And tried to build a new home there. I got involved with everything I could. I went to every single party. I met a ton of new friends, and I was slowly making them my family. That semester, in the middle of November, I got a text message from my sister saying, come home tonight. We want you here to say goodbye to your mom. She had been in a coma for the past couple of weeks, and they wanted me home to take her off life support. So I got on a bus at 9 p.m., got back to New York at 1 a.m., and we all sat together, and a couple of hours later, her heartbeat stopped. And so that same night, we went home, and my dad asked us to clear the entire house of all of her belongings, because for him, it was too painful to have anything that reminded of her. And to me, that meant that I couldn't tell anyone at school what had happened. And so that's what I did. I went back to school, and I forgot, or tried to forget, all about my mom. 3 years later, my dad decides he wants to take me to China. It's sweet, but it's not that sweet when you realize that he's taking you to China because he's looking for his new life. I was there because I wanted to connect with my home and my family and understand where I came from. And so, like I said, I am a city kid. So my family is from a tropical island in China called Hainan, and where we stayed was the city center. And so my dad said, we're going to go visit my mom's sisters and brothers. And so to me, driving away from a city center and losing the bars on my cell phone meant that I was going to a farm, which I wasn't going to. But my mom's family lived in rural China, which means when we got to my mom's family home, it was a large plot of land with roosters running wild and wild dogs. And I get there and I see this woman, and I can't believe how much she looks like my mom. It's my aunt. And I've never met her before in my life. I've never spoken to her. And the only way that she knows it's me is because she's seen photos of me growing up. And I got there, and it felt like home. It felt like it just was unconditional love being with my family that had never met me. They had clearly been preparing food for us for hours in a wok that is this big, because Chinese people do not mess around when they're feeding family from across the world. And we spent the entire day talking about my mom, talking about the kind of person she was, talking about what it was like growing up with her. I saw the room she lived in. I saw photos of her grandfather and her grandmother, and just, it was the first time in my life that I had really felt like I was at home. And the summer of 2014 became the first summer that I started to remember my mom and to celebrate her and to learn about her history. Thank you.
Wow.
Good job.